Hello everyone, this is Ahmed Hafiz and today I will talk about receiving goods using warehouse management module in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management. We will start by the difference between inventory management and warehouse management. Inventory management focuses on inventory level and values, ensuring there is sufficient on hand to fulfill the demand. On the other hand, warehouse management focuses on the operations within the warehouse. For example, if I want to receive an item, warehouse management will provide information on where to pick the item, where to put the item, printing the label if needed, identifying which warehouse worker allowed to perform this operation, and so on. In the next slide, I will show you graphical example for the warehouse layout. This is a very simple warehouse layout. As you can see, we have here receiving location or receiving area. We have here shipping area. We have storage area here, and we have some worker driving forklift. In the purchase order scenario, typically there is a worker here will receive the quantity from the vendor and will generate the work. Then another worker will be assigned to process the work and will pick the quantity from here and put the quantity there in the storage location. This is a real life example for a warehouse. I just want to show you how the warehouse looks like in real life. Now I will show you the required setup to perform the purchase order receiving using warehouse management module. The first step is to enable warehouse to use advanced warehouse management processes. This parameter here can be enabled during the initial warehouse creation. Once you have clicked on Save button, this parameter will become read-only. Some of you may wonder, what if the customer went live without using warehouse management, but now they want to enable the existing warehouses to use warehouse management processes? The answer to this question is we have another menu item called Enable Warehouse Setup for converting the existing warehouses to use warehouse management processes. The next setup is the storage dimension group. Enable this parameter here, the highlighted one, will enable all the dimensions, site, warehouse, location, inventory status, and license plate. We have new terms here like location, inventory status, and license plate. In the next slides, we will have a look on each term. Location. Location is a sub-area in a warehouse, such as shelf or a bin, where a product is located within a warehouse. Location impacts the warehouse operation efficiency by letting the warehouse worker know the exact location of an item. For example, if we have sales order, warehouse management module will tell the worker to pick the quantity from location X and put the quantity to the packing area. Then, after completing the packing operation, the worker will pick the quantity from there and put the quantity in the dog door. The next term is inventory status. Inventory status defines if the on-hand available for consumption or not. We can divide items into categories, such as available or blocking. For example, we usually block the quantity if the item should go for inspection or quality control before using it. The next term is license plate. License plate is grouping for an item or a mix of items. This picture as an example for a license plate. A typical form of license plate is a physical pallet. Unit sequence group. If we are going to use warehouse management, there is a mandatory field in the release product screen called unit sequence group. Unit sequence group determines the order of units in which warehouse work is generated. For example, If we have an item and this item has three units like pieces, box, and pallet, the unit sequence group will determine which unit will be used while generating the work. The next setup is work template. Work template define what work is performed and how the work is done. This picture shows simple purchase order work template. We have here single pick and put pair here. In other scenarios, we can have multiple pick and put pairs. For example, pick from receiving location and put to staging, then pick from staging and put to floor. There is no typical work template because it depends on the business scenario and how the customer want to perform the work. The next setup is location directive. Location directive to direct the work transaction to the appropriate locations in the warehouse. In other words, it defines where to pick and put the items. In purchase order scenario, we need to define the put step only because the pick is always from the receive location and this default location is defined on the warehouse screen. I will show you how to define this in the demo. As you can see here, the location directive has four sections: location directive, warehouse selection, lines, and location directive actions. The first section defines if this for pick or put operation. The second section defines which warehouse is applicable to use this location directive. The third section defines the quantity range. The fourth section defines the action, for example, which location can be used to put the quantity. The next setup called mobile device menu item. Mobile device menu item is a screen that the worker will see on the mobile device. We have several options to receive the purchase order. We can use purchase order line receiving. We can use receiving and put away. We can use item receiving or item receiving and put away. And we can use load ID or license plate ID. Now we will have a demo. I will show you the setup and the purchase order receiving process on the application. Now I will show you how to create warehouse location profile, then use this warehouse and location in the warehouse transactions. To create new warehouse, we can use inventory management or warehouse management. This time I will use warehouse management. So we will go to warehouse management module, setup, warehouses. Click on new button. Let's call it 100. Choose a site. We will use site 1. The type will be default. Before saving the record, make sure to enable use warehouse management processes. Then click save. Now I want to create something called location profiles. Location profile enforce specific warehouse rules such as if this location allow mixed items or not, allow mixed batches or not, allow license plate or not. So to create new location profile, go to warehouse management module, then go to setup warehouse location profile. To create new location profile, click on new button, give it a name and ID. Let's call it floor 100. Then you need to select location format. So let's select floor. Basically, location format determines the naming convention for the location. If we click on view details, so basically here, this location format include two segments, floor and aisle. So the warehouse worker will be able to determine which aisle and which floor has the quantity from the ID. Let's go back. We need also to define the location type. Location type is just a definition, so it's just ID and description. So for this location profile, we will allow license plate tracking, we will allow mixed items, we will allow mixed inventory status. Then you can click on Save button. Before leaving the screen, there is here Dimension Fast tab. Here you can determine the volumetric dimensions of the location like height, width, depth, and the volume. So from these dimensions, you can calculate how many pieces from specific item can be stored in this location. Now we want to create the actual location. So we will use the location wizard. So go to warehouse management, setup, warehouse, location setup wizard. Here we will choose warehouse 100. We will choose location profile, floor 100. Then I will use here floor static text here. Then I need to create locations from 1 to 10. Then click on create button. Here we have notification with the locations. You can check the locations from warehouse management, setup, warehouse locations. Then you can see here for warehouse 100, let's filter here on 100. So we created here 10 locations. I will need to create another location for the receiving operation. So let's go again to location wizard, then choose 100. Then this time I will choose receive location profile. Then let's call it receive. Click create. Now we want to assign this receive location on the warehouse. So go to the warehouse screen. Here, let's click on edit. Then inventory and warehouse management tab. Here in the default receipt location, we will choose receive location. Click on save button. Now we want to create work template. So go to here, setup, then where is the work template. Change the work order type to purchase order. Then click on new. Give it a name and description. Let's call it 100 PO direct. Use the same for the description. Then save button. Now we have here the new button is activated. So let's add pick and put pair. then click on Save button. The work class ID determine or limit the type of work lines that a warehouse worker can process on a mobile device. For this one, I used purchase. You can check the details from here. Click on View Details. So here, I click New button here, and the ID is purchase, description is purchase, and the important thing is the work order type should be purchase order. Then let's go back. Now we need to create location directive for this warehouse. So let's go to Warehouse Management module, set up location directives. Click on New button. Sorry, delete. We need to change the work order type first to purchase order. Click on New button here. Give it a name like 100 BO direct. The work type we will use put here. The warehouse selection we will use apply this location directive to site 1 warehouse 100. The quantity range any quantity from 1 up to 10,000. Click on Save button, then click on the action New. Here I will give it a description, put to floor. Click Save. Then in the edit query we need to select the location. So here I need to choose location profile ID, then I need to choose the location profile ID from here. So this means the application will put the quantity to any location with location profile ID floor 100. Click on OK, then click on Save button. Now we need to set up a worker who can receive and process the works for warehouse 100. So go to Warehouse Management module, set up worker. This is the user here. This is the user of the application, but here is the users of the warehouse. So I will click New. I will give it ID 100, username warehouse 100. The default warehouse will be 100 and the default menu is main menu. Then you can click on Save. The application will ask you to set password, so I will give it any password here. Then click on Set Password. Then click on Save button. The next setup is the mobile device menu item. This is a screen that the warehouse worker will use to receive the purchase order. To create mobile device menu item, go to Warehouse Management module, Setup, Mobile Device menu item. We already have here some menu items in the demo data. So let's search for purchase receive. So this one we will receive using the item ID and we will generate the license plate. Then after generating the work, another worker will need to process the work and perform the put away step. So we will need another menu item for the put away. So we have here purchase put away. So for this one, the mode is work, but I will not generate new work here. I will use existing work. And here I will limit the menu item to work class ID purchase. Then these two menu items should be added to a menu. So go to mobile device menu. Here in the inbound, we created inbound menu here, and here we added purchase receive and purchase put away. And the inbound menu should be added to the main menu. So here in the main menu, we have several sub-menus here: inbound, outbound, inventory, production, and so on. Now we need to create a release product enabled for warehouse management processes. So go to here, product information management, products, release products, create a new one. Let's go call it WMS 001, give it a name, and here item model group, anything here, audio. The storage dimension this time we will use warehouse management. The difference between the previous one and this one is enabled for warehouse. So here you can see this one is enabled to use warehouse management processes, and all the dimensions are active here. Let's go back. The tracking dimension will be none. Now we have two new records, two new fields here: reservation hierarchy and unit sequence group. We already talked about unit sequence group. So for this one, I will use each. And here the reservation hierarchy. Basically, reservation hierarchy will determine the dimensions should be considered while reserving the inventory. I will discuss this in the next session when talking about the outbound operations. So for this one, I will use default one. Let's have a look first on the default one. So here, the default one, here the site warehouse inventory status will be considered when reserving the inventory. We can also have a look on the unit sequence group ID. So here we don't have any other unit of measure here. If we have unit conversions with other units like box or pallets, we can add this here in the unit sequence group ID. Now click on OK. If we validate here, everything is okay. So let's create new purchase order for this item. To create purchase order, let's go to procurement and sourcing, purchase orders, all purchase orders. Choose new button, any vendor here, and warehouse 100. Click OK. Choose the item, set the quantity, let's say 100, then save, then click on confirm. Now we want to receive this purchase order. We have two options for the warehouse management. We can use the warehouse management app, or we can use the warehouse emulator. The warehouse emulator is for testing purpose. It should not be used in production environment. So for warehouse emulator, it will be like this. You can basically add this menu item in the URL to open the mobile device, mobile emulator. The mobile app will be like this. You can install it from Microsoft Store. So we will log in with the user ID we created earlier. We will go to inbound, purchase receive, menu item. Here we need to enter the purchase order number. So this will be 133. Then the application will ask me what is the item ID. I can scan the item ID using a barcode, or I can enter the item number. Then I need to set the quantity. So I will receive 100. Click on OK. Now click on this button. Now we got message the work is complete. This means the work has been created. So let's go back to the application and see the work. So here, if you go here, then go to warehouse button, then work details, we will see the work. The next step is to process the work using the put away operation. Before going to the put away step, we need to have a look on the work. So we have here two steps. So these two steps based on the work template we created. We have here the receive location. This one based on the default receipt location we defined in the warehouse 100. And we have here floor 001. This location has been determined based on the location directive. And this is the quantity we set in the mobile device. Now let's process the put away step. So let's go back here and let's go to the purchase put away. We need to enter here the work ID or the license plate ID. We enter here the work ID from here. Then I need to check and confirm the values. So everything looks fine. So the quantity is 100, the location is receipt location, and this is the license plate generated using the menu item. Then click on OK. The application asks me if I need to add another work or no. So I will not add another work. I will say done here. Then the put step. So we picked the quantity from the receipt location and we will put the quantity in floor 001. Click on OK. Now the work is completed. If we refresh the work screen, the work status is closed now and the work status on the line is closed as well. Now, if we go back to the purchase order screen and check the inventory transaction, we can see the status is updated to registered. Then you can post the product receipt and the invoice as we did in the procurement session. The next example, we will use load ID. Firstly, we need to create New mobile device menu item for the load item receiving. So let's go to warehouse management module, then setup mobile device menu item. We need to create, I don't think we have something here, so let's create a new one. So click on new button. Let's give it a name like load item receiving. Give it a description. The mode will be work. This menu item will generate work. And here in the work creation process, we will use load item receiving. And we need to generate the license plate ID automatically. Then click on Save button. Then we need to add this menu item to the inbound menu. So let's go to the mobile device menu, inbound, then let's click on Edit button. Then we need to add the load item receiving to the inbound like this. Then click on Save button. Now let's create another purchase order. So let's go to procurement and sourcing, all purchase orders, new, this one, and this warehouse. Click OK. Use the item we created. You set the quantity, save, confirm. Now we need to go to Warehouse tab, Inbound Load Planning Workbench. Click here on Supply and Demand, then click to New Load. Select Load Template. I can show you how it looks like. So you can just define the volumetric dimension for this load template. Then we can set the quantity from here, then click OK. This way we created load ID and with 32. We can go to the load screen from here. We can expand here and we have the item WMS 0001 and the quantity is 200. Notice here the load status is open and work status work not created yet. We don't have any work as of now. So if you click here on work, we don't have anything. So we will take the load ID, copy this one, then we will go to the warehouse management app. So let's go to the inbound screen. So now we have the new menu item. We will enter the load ID. We will scan the item. We will set the quantity. Then click OK. Now we created the work. If we go again to the work from here, we will see the work. Now we can process the put away step. So let's copy the work ID and go again to the mobile device or mobile application. So we go here to the inbound, then purchase put away, enter the work, review and confirm. We don't need any other work, review and confirm, then click OK. Work completed. If we refresh here, now the work is closed. Let's go back to the load screen and refresh. Now the load status is in process and the work status is 100% of all work completed. Now we will confirm the shipment, then we will post the product receipt from the load screen. Go to product receipt, then note here, this time the product receipt is generated automatically and we cannot change the parameters here or edit the quantity. Click OK. Note here the load status is updated to received. Now you can post the invoice. Before moving to the next scenario, I want to show you how to go to the load screen from the purchase order screen. So if we go back to the purchase order screen, select the line, then go to warehouse, then load details. You can see here the load, and also on the line, if you select line details, then load, you will see the load ID as well. The next option is to receive using license plate receiving. So let's go to mobile device menu item. Here, then click new. Let's create a new one. Give it a name and title. Mode work, and here will be license plate receiving. Then click save, then add this menu item to the inbound menu. Click edit here, then let's select where is the LB receiving. Here click save, then let's create another purchase order. So let's go to procurement and sourcing again. And let's create a new purchase order. Let's add 2 items here. Set the quantity, let's say 100 each, and the next one would be a 0001, let's say 200 pieces, then save, confirm. Go to warehouse tab, inbound load planning workbench, select the 2 lines, to new load, select here the template. We can set the quantity here for the 2 lines, then click OK. Now we added the 2 lines to load number 34. Now go to packing structure. Here in the palette, click on new. Give here a name. Let's call it. We can define the license plate first. Let's go to here, view details, and let's define the license plate. Let's call it AH 12, 12, save. Then let's set this here, click OK. Then on the items, Fast tab, click New. We can change the quantity from here. Let's say here 100 and this one 200. We can split the quantity into several license plates if needed. Click OK. Now we added the two lines to the license plate. So let's take this license plate, copy, and let's go to the mobile app. In the mobile device, let's go to inbound, license plate receiving, enter here the license plate number. Here the application will display all the items included in the license plate. So we have A001 200 pieces and WMS 0001 100 each, and the status is available. Click OK. Work is completed. If we go back here, work, we can see the work. This time the work will be for 2 lines. Now let's go to the mobile device one more time and let's go to the put away. Enter here the license plate. Confirm, we will put 300. Click OK. We don't need any other license plate. Okay, and this will be delivered to multiple locations. Sorry, to location floor 001. Here, multiple items. Click OK. Work completed. Now, if we refresh here, the work is closed. Now we can confirm the shipment and post the product receipt. In this session, I demonstrated 3 ways to receive the purchase order using warehouse management process. You can use any of them according to the business need. If you need more information about the inbound process, you can visit Microsoft Docs here. You can search for warehouse management, then go to the inbound loads here. Thanks for watching and wish you best of luck in your career.